The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the characteristic sounds of a dozen different species. The chittering of the Zephyrian insectoids, the deep rumbles of the crystalline Nethak, and the melodic trills of the aquatic lumini. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Sarah Chen, her small human frame dwarfed by the towering alien delegates surrounding her. "You cannot be serious," hissed Commander Thrak of the Korthani Empire, his 8-foot frame rippling with muscle beneath scarred. "Hide! These humans wish to join our military alliance? Look at them." He gestured dismissively at Sarah with one of his forearms. "They break if you breathe on them too hard." A chorus of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Zephyrians clicked their mandibles in what passed for laughter among their kind, while the Lumini's bioluminescent patches flashed in patterns of amusement. "Ambassador Chen," rumbled High Counselor Vex, his massive crystal form refracting the chambers, light into rainbow patterns. "The Galactic Defense Alliance requires species capable of withstanding the rigors of space combat. Your people possess no natural armor, no enhanced strength, no acidic blood or regenerative capabilities. What could humanity possibly contribute?" Sarah maintained her composure, though inwardly she smiled. She had expected this reaction. Every species in the Alliance was physically superior to humans in some way. The Korthani were living tanks, the Zephyrians moved faster than the eye could follow, and the Nethak could survive in the vacuum of space. But they were all missing something. "Crucial." "Honored counselors," Sarah began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's translation matrix. "I understand your concerns, but I request a simple demonstration. Would you be willing to observe a tactical simulation?" Thrak's scarred face twisted into what might have been a grin. "A simulation? Very well, human. Show us how your fragile species would fare against a real threat." The chamber's central holographic display activated, showing a 3-dimensional star map. A red indicator pulsed ominously at the edge of known space. The Void Swarm, a hive mind species that had been consuming star systems for the past century. "The scenario," announced the chamber's AI, "is a defensive action against a Void Swarm incursion. Fleet composition: 100 swarm vessels approaching the colony world of Kepler 442b. Defending forces: 30 mixed species vessels from the Alliance fleet." The simulation began, and Sarah watched as the Allied commanders took their positions. The display showed their ships moving in standard formations, following textbook military doctrine. It was exactly what she had hoped to see. The Void Swarm, struck with typical brutality, their organic ships swarming around the Alliance defenders like angry wasps. The simulation ran its course, and the results were grimly predictable. The colony world fell, and 2/3 of the Alliance fleet was destroyed. "As expected," Thrak grunted. "The swarm's numbers are simply too great. Now, human, show us how your kind would improve upon this failure." Sarah stepped forward to the control interface. "Computer, reset simulation. Replace Commander Thrak's flagship with a human-commanded vessel. Maintain all other variables." The simulation restarted, but this time something was different. The human ship, the UES Odyssey, didn't follow standard formations. Instead, it hung back, seemingly doing nothing as the battle began. "Cowardice," sneered one of the Zephyrian delegates. "The humans flee before the fight even begins." But Sarah's eyes were focused on the tactical display, watching patterns emerge from chaos. The Void Swarm moved like a school of fish, each individual responding to local stimuli while following simple rules. Beautiful in its simplicity, but predictable once you understood the underlying mathematics. The Odyssey suddenly burst into action, but not in any way the aliens expected. Instead of engaging the swarm directly, it began transmitting a specific pattern of electromagnetic pulses. Within moments, something extraordinary happened. The swarm's perfect coordination began to break down. "Impossible," breathed High Counselor. "Fezur, how are they disrupting the hive-mind connection?" Sarah smiled. "We're not disrupting it. We're hijacking it. 3 months ago, our xenobiologists identified the quantum frequency the swarm uses for communication. Our computer specialists, then developed an algorithm to inject false commands into their network. On the display, swarm ships began attacking each other, their formations dissolving into chaos. The Alliance fleet, following new tactical instructions from the Odyssey, swept through the confused enemies like a scythe through wheat. Commander Thrax's jaw hung open. You turned their greatest strength against them. Pattern recognition, systems analysis, creative problem solving. Sarah explained. These are humanity's true weapons. While other species evolved physical advantages, we developed something far more powerful: the ability to see connections where others see only chaos. The chamber had fallen silent except for the gentle hum of environmental systems. Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength. You see weakness in our soft bodies, but you miss the point entirely. We don't need claws when we can build machines to do our work. We don't need armor when we can predict where attacks will come from. We don't need to be the strongest or fastest when we can be the smartest. She gestured to the tactical display, where the simulation showed a complete Alliance victory with minimal losses. Every species here excels at destruction in their own way. But humans excel at understanding, and understanding is how wars are truly won. We see the patterns in stellar drift that let us predict enemy movements. We model social dynamics to anticipate political upheavals. We solve problems others didn't even know existed. High Counselor Vex's crystal form seemed to pulse with new light. And you would share these capabilities with the Alliance? More than that, Sarah replied. We would teach them. Human military academies don't just train soldiers, they train thinkers, strategic analysts who can see the big picture, tactical innovators who turn disadvantages into advantages, system specialists who find the critical weakness in any enemy. For the first time since humanity had requested membership, the chamber buzzed with genuine interest rather than dismissive chatter. Commander Thrax stepped forward, his massive frame no longer seeming quite so intimidating. I may have misjudged your species, Ambassador Chen. Perhaps there is more to strength than muscle and bone. There always has been, Commander, Sarah said softly. We just needed the chance to prove it. As the vote was called, and humanity was unanimously welcomed into the Galactic Defense Alliance, Sarah reflected on an old human saying, "The pen is mightier than the sword." In humanity's case, it was the mind that proved mightier than claw, fang, or armor. After all, what good were strong bodies when facing an enemy that could think 3 moves ahead?